All right, and before we start setting up the nav bar, I want to showcase some CSS code that I have in the big sidebar and small sidebar because I think it's very important and it's going to help you to understand better the entire structure of the shared layout. And I want to start by getting the wrappers in all of these three files. So let me navigate first, I guess, to the nav bar. No, these are the wrappers, sorry. So I'm looking for the page, no, not pages, sorry, components. Sorry, got lost here. Let me go above and then I'm just going to say import wrapper. And we're going to be looking for from, and of course, we want to navigate to the assets, then wrappers, and then we want to get the nav bar. We're going to basically wrap our heading 2. I think it's going to be faster. So let's wrap our heading 2. Let's set up the proper return. And I guess we can remove the semicolon for now. Let's speed this up. I'm going to grab this line of import. I'm going to navigate to small sidebar as well. And we just want to change where the wrapper is coming from. So now we are looking for the small sidebar. And the same deal. I basically want to wrap this heading 2 in that wrapper. So let's go here with wrapper. Let's wrap the heading 2. Let's set up the proper return, remove the semicolon, and let's repeat the same thing for the big sidebar. So let's navigate here. Same deal, copy and paste. And we want to set up the wrapper. So wrapper, and then heading 2. And it looks like I forgot to change it here. So we need to look for big sidebar in the wrappers. And once we save, you'll notice that we right away have the layout. So basically, on a small screen, we'll display only the small sidebar. And don't worry about the fact that it's on top of the nav bar. We still need to add a little bit of logic inside of the return. Once we do that, it's not going to be the case. What I'm trying to showcase is that once we get to the big screen, we'll automatically display the big sidebar. Again, a lot of the pieces are missing over here, but please notice the big idea where on a small screen, we'll just display the small sidebar by default without doing any kind of logic in React. And then once we get to the big screen, we'll display this big sidebar. So like I was saying, essentially, we'll have that 2-column layout where we'll have one sidebar and then rest of the stuff. So navbar as well as the page content. And the way I did that is using CSS. So if we navigate to the assets, then wrappers, and then big sidebar, and if you actually take a look at the CSS code, you'll notice display none. So by default, the big sidebar is not going to be displayed. It's only going to be displayed starting with 992 pixels. So in here, we have display none, and then once we get to 992, then we go with display block. Now, for the small sidebar, it's actually opposite, where by default it's displayed, but once we get to 992, we set display equal to none. And essentially, this is my preference. So if I can set up the logic in the CSS without even involving the React, I tend to do that. Now, is it always going to be the case? No. For example, for toggling the sidebar and that type of stuff, we will have to still involve the React. We'll have to set up some kind of state variable and all that. But if it's possible, then I try to solve most of it just by using CSS. Hopefully this is clear. And now let's talk about the icons we're going to use in this project.